Once one of the most popular and distinctive sitcoms of the 1970s, Mork and Mindy left a lasting impression on millions of viewers with its unique blend of imaginative humor and heartfelt emotion. But behind the laughter, many of the actors who brought this beloved show to life have quietly left our world. In today's video, we honor 13 cherished Mork and Mindy cast members who have passed away, each leaving an unforgettable mark on television history. Robin Williams as Mork. Robin Williams was born on July 21, 1951 in Chicago, Illinois, and would go on to become one of the most beloved and versatile performers in the history of American entertainment. At just 26 years old, Williams was cast in the role that would catapult him to national fame. Mork from Ork, the eccentric alien with rainbow suspenders, an upside-down worldview, and the catchphrase, "Nanu Nanu." His first appearance as Mork came in a 1978 episode of Happy Days, originally intended as a quirky one-off. But Williams's improvisational genius was so magnetic, so completely unpredictable and dazzling, that producers instantly recognized his star potential. Thus, Mork and Mindy was born. The show, which ran from 1978 to 1982, was more than just a sitcom. It was a cultural phenomenon, and much of that was due to Robin Williams's boundless energy and unique comedic style. Unlike most actors, Williams rarely stuck to the script. He improvised wildly, creating moments of brilliance that made both his co-stars and the audience burst out in laughter. As Mork, he brought innocence, wonder, and surreal humor to Earth, all while offering sharp satire on human behavior. It was clear even then that Williams wasn't just playing a character. He was redefining what comedy could be. But Mork and Mindy was just the beginning. Williams went on to become a towering figure in both comedy and drama. He received 4 Academy Award nominations throughout his career and won the Oscar for Best Supporting Actor for his quietly powerful performance in Good Will Hunting. His dramatic depth also shone through in Dead Poets Society, Awakenings, and The Fisher King, while his unforgettable comedic roles in Mrs. Doubtfire, The Birdcage, and Aladdin displayed a man who could switch between pathos and hilarity with astonishing ease. As the voice of the genie in Aladdin, he redefined the potential of animated characters, bringing manic improvisation and heartfelt warmth to a role that would become iconic. Off-screen, Robin's life was filled with both triumph and hardship. He was married 3 times and had 3 children. Despite his fame and fortune, his net worth at the time of his death was estimated at $50 million. Williams struggled with substance abuse and periods of deep depression. In the last years of his life, he was misdiagnosed with Parkinson's disease, only for an autopsy to later reveal he had been suffering from Lewy body dementia, a devastating and little-understood neurological condition. On August 11, 2014, Robin Williams died by suicide at the age of 63. His death sent shockwaves around the world, prompting an outpouring of grief from fans, fellow actors, comedians, and public figures who had been touched by his brilliance. In the days that followed, tributes poured in, not just for the star, but for the human being behind the laughter, a man of immense compassion, intelligence, and vulnerability. Robin Williams left behind an unparalleled legacy. From stand-up stages to Oscar-winning dramas, from alien antics on Mork and Mindy to tear-jerking speeches in films like Patch Adams and Dead Poets Society, he gave the world joy, comfort, and catharsis. Even now, more than a decade after his passing, his work continues to inspire generations of performers and fans. Robin taught us that it was okay to be weird, to be kind, to laugh through pain, and to always seize the day. Conrad Janice as Fred McConnell. Conrad Janice, born on February 11, 1928 in New York City, was a multifaceted talent whose career spanned film, television, theater, and music. When he joined the cast of Mork and Mindy as Fred McConnell, Mindy's father, he was already a well-established actor with decades of experience. At the age of 50, Janice brought a sense of grounded realism to the otherwise zany and otherworldly premise of the series. As Fred, the skeptical and protective father figure, he served as a foil to Robin Williams's unpredictable Mork, balancing the show's outrageous humor with heartfelt familial concern and old-school sensibility. Fred McConnell, a music store owner, wasn't just a sitcom dad. His reactions to Mork's odd behavior captured the generational and ideological gap between conservative post-war values and the free-spirited attitudes of the late 70s. Yet over the series' run, Janice's portrayal allowed Fred to evolve. Initially wary and confused by Mork, he slowly softened, accepting the alien not just as a guest in his daughter's life, but as part of the family. Janice brought warmth and gravitas to the role, providing an emotional anchor in the show's whirlwind of sci-fi comedy. His chemistry with co-stars Pam Dawber and Robin Williams helped elevate the dynamic, making Mork and Mindy not only funny, but also tender. Before Mork and Mindy, Conrad Janice had built a robust career in entertainment. His early film credits include The Brasher Doubloon, and he made memorable appearances in the Buddy Holly story, Airport 1975, and Nothing in Common with Tom Hanks and Jackie Gleason. On television, he guest-starred in numerous series throughout the 60s and 70s, such as Bonanza, The Jeffersons, The Golden Girls, and Murder, She Wrote. He was also active on stage, appearing in Broadway productions and off-Broadway shows, earning critical praise for his versatility. Outside of acting, Janice had a deep passion for music. A skilled jazz trombonist, he led the Beverly Hills Unlisted Jazz Band, a group that brought classic Dixieland jazz to new audiences. His band played at prestigious venues like Carnegie Hall and made multiple appearances on The Tonight Show, starring Johnny Carson. His love for music wasn't just a hobby, it was a central part of his identity. Even while acting, he maintained his musical career, showing a rare commitment to both crafts. In his personal life, Janice married 3 times. His final and longest marriage was to actress and screenwriter Maria Grimm, which lasted until her death in 2021. The couple remained largely out of the tabloid spotlight, living a private and seemingly devoted life together. After Maria's passing, Janice gradually withdrew from public life, spending his final years in quiet reflection. Conrad Janice passed away from natural causes on March 1, 2022, at the age of 94. Though never one to chase the spotlight, his contributions to television and music left a lasting impression. At the time of his death, his net worth was estimated at $1.5 million, a modest sum that belied the cultural value of his work. Fans of Mork and Mindy remember him fondly as the endearing, if occasionally exasperated, Fred McConnell, a man who learned to embrace the unexpected and who, like the show itself, reminded audiences that love, laughter, and acceptance can come from the most unlikely places. Elizabeth Kerr, as Cora Hudson. Elizabeth Kerr was born on August 15, 1912, in Kansas City, Missouri, and by the time she joined Mork and Mindy as Cora Hudson, she was already a well-established actress with a rich background in theater and television. Portraying Mindy's level-headed and affectionate grandmother, Kerr brought a unique blend of warmth and dry wit to the show. Her character was often the only one who treated Mork's extraterrestrial quirks with calm curiosity rather than alarm. Cora wasn't just a bystander to the madness, she often served as the emotional glue that held the family dynamic together, offering sage advice and quiet support in a world filled with chaos and comedy. Before her television success, Elizabeth Kerr had built a remarkable reputation on the stage. Her Broadway credits include notable plays such as Angel in the Pawn Shop, The Conquering Hero, and Redhead. She was a versatile performer who could command attention with subtlety, often playing characters who were wise, strong, and sharply intelligent. Beyond acting, Kerr was also an accomplished writer and critic. She demonstrated her entrepreneurial spirit by co-owning a newspaper with her husband. And in 1952, she founded the Resident Theater of North Hollywood, a pioneering effort that supported community theater and local talent during an era when live performance was fading from public favor. While her on-screen presence was always poised and confident, Kerr lived a private life away from the spotlight. Little is publicly known about her family, and whether she had children remains unclear. Still, she dedicated her life to the arts and to the enrichment of storytelling, both as a performer and as a mentor. Her contributions to the cultural landscape extended far beyond her role in Mork and Mindy, though that performance remains one of her most beloved. Elizabeth Kerr passed away peacefully on January 13, 2000, at the age of 87. Her death, caused by natural causes, marked the end of a long and quiet life of artistic devotion. At the time of her passing, her net worth was estimated to be under $500,000, a reflection of a career that prioritized passion and performance over fame and fortune. While she may not have received the same spotlight as some of her co-stars, her legacy endures as a graceful, grounding force in one of television's most imaginative and chaotic sitcoms. In Mork and Mindy, she reminded audiences that wisdom could coexist with whimsy, and that even in a universe where aliens fall from the sky, a grandmother's love and calm presence could make everything feel a little more human. Jonathan Winters as Mirth. Jonathan Winters, born on November 11, 1925, in Dayton, Ohio, brought a storm of brilliance and surreal humor to Mork and Mindy when he joined in its fourth season as Mirth, the bafflingly adult-bodied yet child-minded son of Mork and Mindy. The casting was no accident. Robin Williams, who had worshipped Winters as a comedy idol since his youth, personally suggested him for the role. What followed was a riotous, unscripted collision of two comedic giants. Their scenes often spiraled into gloriously unpredictable territory, as Williams and Winters riffed off each other in a blur of accents, gibberish, and punchlines no script could have contained. It was pure comedic jazz, chaotic, risky, and transcendent. But Winters wasn't just a zany TV character. He was one of the founding fathers of modern improvisational comedy. Long before it was fashionable, he had forged a path with The Jonathan Winters Show, a treasure trove of characters and voices that captivated both audiences and future comedians. His influence spanned decades. He was a regular presence on television from the 1960s through the 1980s, starred in films like It's a Mad, 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 Mad World, and left a lasting legacy in audio comedy with 11 Grammy nominations, winning one in 1996 for Cranky Calls. His reach extended into animation, too. He voiced Grandpa Smurf and later reprised roles in shows like The Fairly Odd Parents, proving his comedy was timeless and boundless. Behind the laughter, though, Winters battled serious demons. He was candid about his lifelong struggle with bipolar disorder, which led to hospitalizations in 1959 and 1961. Yet even in his darkest moments, he mined his pain for comedy that felt startlingly human. He often said that the voices in his head were simply waiting their turn to speak. Unlike many comedians who masked their trauma, Winters leaned into his with radical honesty, making his comedy all the more poignant and profound. Winters was married to Eileen Schauder from 1948 until her death in 2009, and they had 2 children. He continued to perform well into his later years, maintaining his quick wit and penchant for absurdity even as his body slowed down. When he died of natural causes on April 11, 2013, at the age of 87, the world lost more than just a comic genius. It lost a soul who had shaped the very nature of American humor. His estate, estimated at around $5 million, was a modest sum for a man who had given the world so much joy. To Robin Williams, Jonathan Winters was a mentor and kindred spirit. To the rest of us, he was a master of madness, a poet of lunacy, and a reminder that true comedy dances on the edge of chaos. In the role of Mirth, Winters didn't just play a character. He turned Mork and Mindy into a playground for his extraordinary and anarchic mind. J. Thomas as Remo da Vinci. J. Thomas, born John Thomas Terrell on July 12, 1948 in Kermit, Texas, joined Mork and Mindy during its 3rd season in 1980 as Remo da Vinci, a skeptical yet warm-hearted diner owner. Remo served as a comedic counterbalance to Mork, often reacting with bewildered normalcy to the alien's bizarre antics. At 32 years old, Thomas brought a sharp wit and grounded charm to the role, making Remo one of the standout characters in the show's later seasons. After Mork and Mindy, Thomas's television career flourished. He was best known for playing Eddie LeBec on Cheers, a role that captivated audiences and ended with a twist that shocked fans. He also starred in Murphy Brown, winning 2 Emmy Awards for his portrayal of Jerry Gold, and delighted viewers as the Easter Bunny in the Santa Claus film series. Jay became a regular guest on talk shows, especially with David Letterman, where his hilarious holiday stories earned him a recurring spot every Christmas season. In his personal life, Thomas married Sally Michelson in 1987, with whom he had 2 sons. He also fathered a son, J.T. Harding, who was placed for adoption but later reunited with Jay as an adult. Harding went on to become a successful country music songwriter, and their reunion story added a touching chapter to Thomas's legacy. J. Thomas passed away on August 24, 2017, at the age of 69 due to complications from throat cancer. His net worth at the time was estimated at around $3 million. He left behind a legacy of laughter, authenticity, and heart, forever remembered for Remo da Vinci's skeptical smirk, quick comebacks, and above all, human warmth. Robert Donner as Exidor. Robert Donner was born on April 27, 1931, in New York City, and became an unforgettable part of Mork and Mindy through his portrayal of Exidor, a wildly eccentric street prophet known for his paper crown, flowing robes, and conversations with imaginary friends. Exidor embodied pure chaos, but somehow delivered it with poetic charm. Though he only appeared in about 10 episodes, every moment he stepped into the frame became an unpredictable spectacle that lit up the screen. At age 47, when he took on the role, Donner brought a cinematic flair and decades of experience to this wildly original character. Before Mork and Mindy, Donner had appeared in dozens of television shows and films. He had small but memorable roles in John Wayne's Western trilogy, Rio Bravo, El Dorado, and Rio Lobo. He was also seen in classic series like The Waltons, Gunsmoke, and Columbo, becoming a staple of American TV in the 70s and 80s. Donner was more than a versatile supporting actor. He had a rare ability to turn seemingly ridiculous characters into cult icons. In 1982, he married Jill Sherman, a producer and screenwriter, and they remained together until his death. Robert Donner passed away on June 8, 2006, in Sherman Oaks, California, after a heart attack at the age of 75. His net worth was estimated at around $2 million. Though never the headline star, Donner was the kind of actor who lit up every scene, transforming oddball roles into unforgettable moments of television magic. Tom Poston as Franklin Delano Bickley. Tom Poston, born on October 17, 1921 in Columbus, Ohio, brought to life the grumpy yet lovable neighbor Franklin Delano Bickley in Mork and Mindy. Nearly 60 years old when he took on the role, Poston's signature deadpan wit and effortless comedic timing made Bickley feel like a familiar presence, an essential part of the quirky neighborhood where Mork and Mindy lived. As a seasoned comedian, Poston struck a delicate balance between the mundane and the absurd, helping ground the show's sci-fi elements with relatable, everyday humor. Before Mork and Mindy, Poston had already built an impressive career. He won an Emmy Award in 1959 for The Steve Allen Show, where he became famous for his role as the man on the street. Throughout the 1960s and 70s, he appeared in numerous television series, most notably The Bob Newhart Show and Newhart, both of which earned him additional Emmy nominations. He also appeared in films such as Zotz and Cold Turkey, and guest starred on sitcoms like Family Matters, Murphy Brown, and Will and Grace. In his personal life, Tom Poston was married 4 times. His final marriage to actress Suzanne Pleshette, his longtime friend and co-star, was widely admired. They wed in 2001 during their later years and remained devoted to each other until his passing. Tom Poston died on April 30, 2007, in Los Angeles at the age of 85. The cause was respiratory failure. At the time of his death, his net worth was estimated at approximately $3 million. With a career spanning over 5 decades, Poston was not just a charming comedic actor, but a symbol of resilience and warmth in the hearts of American television audiences. Ralph James as Orson. Ralph James, born on November 29, 1924, was one of the most recognizable voices of the 1970s and 1980s, despite rarely appearing on screen. In Mork Mindy, he portrayed Orson, the authoritative leader of the Orcan race and Mork's superior, who communicated with Mork in the closing scenes of each episode. Though his role was solely vocal, James left a lasting impression with his deep, commanding tone, often laced with a dry, sardonic wit. His voice served as the perfect counterbalance to Mork's childlike wonder, anchoring the show's comedic lessons with a sense of cosmic gravity. Before voicing Orson, Ralph James was already an accomplished voice actor. He was widely known as the voice of Mr. Turtle in the classic Tootsie Pop commercials, a cultural staple for generations. He also contributed to animated series such as The Pink Panther Show and numerous children's television programs. While he occasionally appeared in live-action films like Big Bad Mama, Capone, and Six Pack Annie, the bulk of his career was spent behind the microphone rather than in front of the camera. James kept his personal life remarkably private. He avoided the spotlight and seemed to retreat from public life after the voiceover boom of the 1980s began to fade. On March 14, 1992, he passed away at the age of 67 from natural causes. Though his net worth at the time of death was not publicly disclosed, his legacy, especially his unforgettable voice, continues to echo in the memories of those who grew up watching Mork Mindy or those who fondly remember the nostalgic charm of vintage television commercials. Jeffrey Jackette as Eugene. Jeffrey Jackette was born on October 15, 1966, in Bay City, Michigan. At just 11 years old, the bright young actor was cast as Eugene in the first season of Mork Mindy. Eugene was a shy but highly intelligent neighborhood kid who often visited Mindy's family music store for violin lessons. Jackette's character served as a unique bridge between the adult world and a child's perspective, and he was one of the first people to truly understand Mork, despite Mork being from another planet. Though Eugene only appeared in the show's first season, he left a lasting impression with his sincerity and innocence. When the producers decided to shift the series in a more adult direction, Eugene's character was written out to make room for new storylines. Even so, Jackette continued acting for a few more years, appearing in films like Holy Moses and starring in Whiz Kids, a television series about a group of teenage tech geniuses. By the mid-1980s, Jeffrey Jackette made an unexpected departure from the entertainment industry to focus on his education. He studied law and began practicing as an attorney in Los Angeles in 1993. Since then, he has largely stayed out of the public eye, choosing a quiet and private life. In 2025, Jackette turned 58. Though no longer active in show business, he remains fondly remembered as an important part of Mork Mindy, proving that sometimes even a single season is enough to leave a mark on television history. Bill Kerschenbower as Todd Norman Taylor. Bill Kerschenbower was born on February 19, 1953, and joined Mork Mindy during its later seasons as Todd Norman Taylor, a witty and good-natured supporting character who brought warmth and relatability to a show increasingly filled with quirky, otherworldly figures. Though not a central character, Todd was a vital piece in preserving the classic sitcom charm amidst the show's growing sci-fi elements. With his approachable demeanor and signature down-home comedic style, Kerschenbower made Todd a lovable figure for both young and adult audiences. Before gaining wider recognition, Kerschenbower appeared in Fernwood Tonight and Make Me Laugh. After Mork Mindy, he became best known for playing Coach Graham Lubbock on Growing Pains, a role that earned him his own spin-off series, Just the 10 of Us. While never quite an A-list star, he developed a loyal fan base thanks to his gentle, natural, and endearing brand of comedy. In the years that followed, Kerschenbower made occasional TV appearances but continued performing stand-up comedy and participated in smaller projects, including a documentary about his own career. By 2025, he turned 72 and now lives a peaceful life in California. With stable health, he has retained his trademark humor and frequently connects with fans through fairs, retro festivals, and nostalgic TV events celebrating the 1980s. Morgan Fairchild as Susan Taylor. Morgan Fairchild, born on February 3, 1950 in Dallas, Texas, has long been regarded as one of television's most glamorous and commanding presences, spanning more than 4 decades in American entertainment. In Mork Mindy, she portrayed Susan Taylor, a sophisticated, intelligent, and assertive news anchor who once had a brief romantic relationship with Mindy's father. Though her appearances were limited to a handful of episodes, Susan left a lasting impression thanks to the elegance and poise that Fairchild effortlessly brought to the role. By the time she appeared on Mork and Mindy, Fairchild was already in her 30s and a familiar face on television. She had starred in popular primetime soaps like Dallas, Flamingo Road, and Falcon Crest, helping to define the image of the modern, confident, and independent woman of the era. Beyond acting, Fairchild became known as a passionate advocate for social causes, especially in the areas of public health and LGBTQ+ rights. In her personal life, Fairchild had several high-profile relationships but chose not to marry. As of 2025, she is 75 years old. While no longer active on set full-time, she continues to make occasional guest appearances on TV series and remains a fixture in the public eye through interviews, nostalgic television events, and social media. With her health intact and her spirit undimmed, Morgan Fairchild endures as a timeless icon of grace, strength, and style. Mork and Mindy wasn't just a sitcom. It was a time capsule, a joyful burst of creativity, silliness, and sincerity. Though many of its stars have passed on, their contributions continue to bring laughter and nostalgia to fans around the world. From Robin Williams' iconic performance to the unforgettable ensemble cast, their legacy lives on in syndication, streaming, and our memories. Thank you for joining us on this emotional journey. Be sure to like, subscribe, and share your favorite Mork and Mindy moments in the comments below. And as always, Nanu Nanu.